Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so let's have a short recap of what we have discussed in the previous sessions. We have discussed until 24th verse. The 6th chapter is called Sankhya Yoga, wherein Lord Krishna is giving to some extent details of one specific yoga system called Ashtanga Yoga system. And why this Ashtanga Yoga system was being described is because Krishna in the previous chapter has mentioned that to perform actions on the Brahma Bhuta platform or the spiritual consciousness platform is the perfection of life. Otherwise, material consciousness will only further entangle you. It will only make you more and more absorbed in a type of a understanding that I am this body and acting on the sensual platform, and this is going to be very much continuing your existence in the material world. So to bring our consciousness or elevate our consciousness, evolve our consciousness from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness, there are specific spiritual processes, which Krishna hinted at towards the end of the 5th chapter, that yes, there is one process called Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 different steps, wherein one can gradually evolve our consciousness from material platform to spiritual platform. So that specific consciousness evolution is what all the yoga processes recommend. So here, that very authentic and very standard process called Ashtanga Yoga is being described in this chapter. It is also known as Sankhya Yoga because Sankhya again means detailed way, analytical way it is being described, right? So Krishna mentioned the principles of yoga system, that basically any yoga system, you should not have any desires for your personal gratification, and you are supposed to dedicate all your activities for the cause of your spiritual upliftment, for the ultimate spiritual progress, and to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. That way, Krishna was telling that what was discussed in the previous chapters, sannyasa, that is same as yoga, because in both the result finally is to see that you renounce the desire for sense gratification and come to the perfectional platform of only pleasing Krishna. Which means Krishna is trying to tell the mind right now is absorbed in many materialistic way of thinking, feeling, and acting through the senses. That has to be controlled. The whole Ashtanga Yoga process is meant to control the mind and regulate the senses, so that your attention, your consciousness is focused on the super soul within the heart. That is the process. So for that, Krishna elaborately described some preliminary steps. Ashtanga Yoga has 8 steps, and the first step is called Yama, some do's, right? There's some do's, like you have to select a very sacred place, a secluded place, and a seat which is not too high or too low. Should cover it with a soft cotton cloth. On that, you have to lay kusha grass, and that you have to put a deer skin, and you have to sit tightly on that, right? Like this, some do's, and some don'ts, like your mind should not be going here and there. There's no sex life, don'ts, like that. So like this, many recommendations were given, and you have to fully sit in a particular erect posture with body, neck, and head straight, and your eye should focus half closed on the tip of the nose. Like this, many recommendations were given, do's and don'ts. And on that, you have to sit tightly and fully focus your mind on the super soul within the heart. Yama, niyama, sitting posture is the asana, and with the breathing process called the pranayama. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. Pranayama is the breathing exercises. All again, we have so many life airs within the body, right? Udana, the air which is lifting all the things up, the air which is putting things down from the top to bottom. Vyana, like this Udana, so many airs are there. 5 types of airs are there in the body. All those A's are brought to equilibrium for, again, control of your mind. Right? So this is what is called pranayama. And this slowly, the mind should, keep rejecting all the different conditioned, instincts for sense gratification. That is called pratyahara. And fully seeing that the mind is keeping the super soul, focusing on the super soul, dharana. And then slowly dhyana, that focusing on the super soul is intensified further with minimum disturbance. That is called dhyana. Then samadhi. Finally, there is no interruption at all. Constant absorption in thinking of, in mind absorbed in the super soul's meditation. That is called samadhi. So like this, 8 steps Krishna explains. And during description of these 8 steps, Krishna also explains that practically speaking, the yogi should follow some processes of regulating his habits of eating, sleeping, and recreation. So the unregulated people cannot perform yoga, Krishna very clearly explains. And we also discussed how the stage of samadhi is something which Krishna, in some more detail, he explains, wherein the mind is like in a windless place, a lamp. The flame of a lamp is unwavering, it is very steady. That way, the mind is completely absorbed from material conceptions, and it is fully absorbed in the meditation on super soul, so much so that it is experiencing transcendental happiness. It is experiencing spiritual happiness, which is beyond this material realm. And this happiness is something which can be experienced only when you are elevated to a particular spiritual consciousness platform. Krishna says, once you have reached this platform, that you understand that is the highest. There's nothing superior to that. And once you have come to this level of perfection, any disturbance in the material world will not shake you. And this is what Krishna says is the way to reach to the topmost perfection, wherein you are free from all agitation from the sense objects. And Krishna also was, in the verse 24, Krishna was explaining how in this way we should be endeavoring to practice yoga with undeviating determination and faith, and control our senses on all sides by the mind. Like this, Krishna was recommending that you should be determined, you should be undeviating, you should be controlling your sense, which means Ashtanga Yoga has a lot of strict regulations that you cannot simply give away your senses, because there's every chance that again you may fall down from your process of practice. The famous example is of Vishwamitra Muni, who was engaged in Ashtanga Yoga, but when Indra saw that this rishi, Vishwamitra Muni, was becoming very strong by his tapasya, he sent a Apsara by name Menaka. She came and danced, and tinkling bells of her dancing itself disturbed Vishwamitra, and he gave up his practice. And after that, he begot the daughter by name Shakuntala, and after that he realized, what I have done. He left and he again started his meditation. So which means, basically, Ashtanga Yoga requires the ability or the personal endeavor from the practitioner, sadhaka, to see that he is fully doing the practice with great determination. That's what Krishna is telling us repeatedly here. Whereas Prabhupada is trying to compare and give us the wonderful understanding of how Krishna consciousness has all these features, but it is much more simpler. And in this process of Krishna consciousness, the endeavor from the practitioner is maybe 1%, 10% help Krishna gives. So that way, that is more easier and more quicker and most assured way of success, guaranteed process of success. This we'll see as we move forward in this chapter. These particular aspects of the uniqueness of bhakti will be explained in this chapter later. But right now, we are going through the regular standard principles involved in any yoga discipline. That's what you have to be familiar with. This chapter, in that way, is giving us a wonderful perspective of the standard principles which are all part of any yoga system. Bhakti yoga also has them, but it is so nicely embedded in such a nice way. Same thing is very simplified. That's why Prabhupada says the most simplified and easy process, sublime process for Kali Yuga is this chanting of the holy names. Right? So we'll see more of these descriptions in the following few verses now. So verse number 25. Shanair Shanair Uparamed Buddhya Udati Grihitaya Atma Samstham Manakritva Na Kinchit Api Chintayet. So here Krishna is telling Shanair Shanair Uparamed, gradually, step by step, with full conviction, Dhati Grihitaya. With full conviction, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence. Which means the process of Ashtanga Yoga requires a lot of your personal involvement in the practice of yoga. So much so that you cannot divert even for some time. No time for leisure in that way. Right? No relaxation. Oh, now I have done and let me relax. No. That's what this this whole description is telling us. Step by step, with full conviction, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence. Thus, the mind should be fixed on the self alone. So, like this, the process itself entails that we follow the steps very diligently and seeing that the mind is fixed on the self properly and should not think of anything else. Very nicely, Prabhupada explains in the purport to this verse that our conviction and our intelligence should be guided by the proper determination that yes, I have to move forward in this yoga discipline. Right? So which means the pratyahara aspect is being explained here. Pratyahara means becoming detached from sense activities, sense gratification activities. To gradually cease from sense activities. This is called pratyahara. Right? Yama, niyama, asana are all meant to develop that conviction, determination, and then keeping away all the sense gratification instincts. That's what the previous verse it was explained. Control all the senses and all the sights by the mind. Right? That is asana, pranayama, all that is going to do that. And pratyahara means should, with using your intelligence and conviction, cease away, even though you don't want to, but those from subtle mind, many sense gratification, thoughts will come up. This is because our association with this material world is such that from time immemorial, we have been in this material world. When it started, we also cannot trace. But somehow we are in this material world. So many millions of lives we have been in this material world. Association with material world means association with opposite sex, association with money, and enjoying senses, for enjoyment of senses. It's like Krishna says in second chapter. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam taya apahrata chetasam. Devasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. Verse number 44, second chapter, Krishna says, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service, Supreme Lord, does not take place. Samadhauna vidhiyate, which means they cannot reach Samadhi platform who is attached to Bhoga Aishwarya, sense enjoyment and opulence. I am only interested with these things. Their mind is bewildered with these things. They cannot come to yoga platform or the perfection of yoga platform. That is the point which Krishna is trying to tell us here. So, basically, pratyahara means, yes, those tendencies are there within us, but we gradually cease. And what we should do? Prabhupada says, the mind being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation of senses should be situated in the trance or samadhi. Right? This is the point. So mind is focusing on, in Ashtanga Yoga, it is focusing on what? It is focusing on the super soul within. Dharana, dhyana. So pratyahara means seizing all material sense gratification. Gross to subtle. From gross sense gratification to subtle sense gratification. All the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama is going to grossly tell you, okay, this is not correct, this is correct. Whereas the pratyahara onwards, it is more subtler. The pratyahara, dharana, dhyana is more subtler. So, basically, the yogi is endeavoring to raise himself from the whole endeavor is how to bring your, how to elevate your material consciousness to the spiritual consciousness. So right now, our mind, our consciousness is fully absorbed in material type of life, type of understanding. Material consciousness means I am this body, bodily necessities, taking care of them is my life, and just work for that day and night. That is called material consciousness. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam. This is the 4 material activities. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That is my life. That is the way, that is the purpose of life, nothing else. There is no other purpose in life. That way, if you go on, then that is called material consciousness. There is no Krishna in the picture at all. Spiritual consciousness means you know the purpose of life is not simply eating, sleeping, mating, defending. I have a higher purpose. I am spirit, soul, Brahman, and Parabrahman is there. I belong to that Parabrahman. I have to go back to Parabrahman. This is called spiritual. Elevating your consciousness, spiritual consciousness. Gradually it evolves. From Parabrahman, you come to Paramatma, Paramatma to Krishna. Like this, step by step, there is elevation of consciousness. Krishna will explain this in the next 27th verse. So, which means, Prabhupada says, at that time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. If you see in the verses of 20 to 23, 4 verses where Krishna was explaining about Samadhi, Prabhupada explains, yoga practice is going to gradually relieve you or free you from material conception of life. Material conception of life means bodily conception of life. This is explained in Bhagavatam very nicely. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. What is bodily conception or material conception of life? My body means is a bag of 3 dhatus. Ayurveda treats with this, with this understanding. Body is made up of kapha, pitta, vayu. It's bile, mucus, air. Right, so my body is a bag of these 3 dhatus. So if you think my body is only these 3 dhatus, that is a wrong understanding. This body is only external, but you are within the body, spirit, soul. And my bodily connections, I am the body, and my bodily connections, my family, my children, my wife, my husband, my relatives, my friends, they're all mine. Me and mine. This is called material conception of life. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke swadhi kalatra adishu bhauma ijjati. Oh, I am born in this place. I am born in Uttar Pradesh, so I am UP wala. Wherever you find UP wala, Uttar Pradesh se hai. Oh, very nice. I am also from same place. Immediately bondage starts. Bonding starts. Okay. So like this, from a place you are born, from that family. I also belong to the same family. Connection. That is called material conception. Okay. Bodily conception. Me and mine. The place of your birth is place of worship for me. Right? So like this, this is all advertised as nationalism, patriotism, all, actually bondage. Okay. So, yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke swadik kalattat shubhoma ijjati yatirtha buddhi salilena karhi chech. It said, you go to pilgrimage place, holy place, just to do sightseeing. You go to pilgrimage as holy place to go and meet the sadhus there and inquire about the purpose of life. Not simply, go there for taking a dip and okay, all my sins are gone. Again, I come back and start my new set of sins. No, that is not the way of life. It's called Kunjara Shauchavat, elephant bathing. Elephant goes nicely, full thorough cleaning. What soap it puts, I don't know. Very nice, thorough cleaning. Again, comes back on the shore, puts the sand on its body again. Our life is like that, means go to holy place. Oh Lord, please forgive me all my sins. I'll take a dip. I'll do all rituals. I'll do puja. I'll do the Brahman bhojana, everything. Again, come back, start. I remember when I was in Bangalore, there is one system. I think Ayappa. I used to go, large number of people. But 1 month or 1.5 months during November, December, up to January 14, they follow strictly. Early morning they get up and everything. On 14th something they go to that temple in Kerala. And after that immediately they give up the dress. And on the way back only they again start all the activities. Intoxication, whatever they have controlled all these years, intoxication, meat eating, gambling, what all. All the 4 regulations broken fully within no time. So what is the point? Just for that time, you have done something again. So this is not the point. So this is what Prabhupada says. Material conception of life doesn't mean simply, you are doing it for some material benefit. No. So Bhagavatam says, like this conception of life, material conception of life is what? Janeshu abhigna saeva gokhara. The animals, the donkeys, the dogs, cats, animals have this conception. We are not trying to undermine them. Thing is, their consciousness is not evolved. That's what it means to say. After all, every living entity has its own existence here because of its previous karma. But its consciousness is not evolved. That's the point. If you remain the same consciousness, then you also will take a body similar to that. Why should we do that? That's what Prabhupada says here. No, so when your intelligence and conviction is, you're using your conviction intelligence such a way that gradually you're giving up sense gratification. You are free from material conception of life. So in that way, even though you are involved in matter, because as long as the body is there, you have to interact with matter, right? So, but you are not involved or so much engrossed in sense gratification. This is what Krishna explained in 4th and 5th chapters. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tektva karotiyah. 5th chapter, 10th verse, Krishna says that Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tektva karotiyah lipyate nasa papena padma patram yuvambasa. When your activities are dedicated for only Krishna and you are given up all attachment for sense gratification, then there is no sin touching you. You are not involved, not engrossed, because you are situated as though like a lotus leaf untouched by water. Right? That 3rd chapter also Krishna explains that the karma bandhana doesn't happen because you're doing all activities for yajna. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra. Lokoyam karma bandhana. So, as long as body is there, you have to interact with matter. But your involvement with matter is only for serving Krishna. Just see how nicely Prabhupada explains. Only for Lord service you engage, which means Prabhupada is trying to parallelly give us the understanding that for a Ashtanga yogi, it is a little more difficult to do this because for him to come to that Brahman conception, it will take some time. It is endeavor. Whereas in Krishna consciousness, from the very beginning, this is being taught to us. Use everything for Krishna. Offer everything for Krishna. So automatically, this consciousness of full conviction that intelligence engaged in Krishna consciousness, called Buddhi Yoga, is practiced from the very beginning. Focusing yourself with super self is always there, which means connection to Krishna is always there from the very beginning. So, Atma samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. There is no other thought. This is what Prabhupada has taught us. When you're offering food to Krishna, you're not thinking, I'm going to eat this food. First, I would offer it to Krishna. Practice. That practice is being given to us. The training is given to us. That's the point. So, Prabhupada says this state is automatically attained or directly attained by practitioners of Krishna consciousness. Which means we are trained that first give pleasure to Krishna, automatically Krishna will give pleasure to you. Whereas material conception is you take pleasure by squeezing out pleasure from others. Right? You are the center. First you should get pleasure. Others, I am not bothered. In Krishna consciousness, pleasure is given to Krishna. You are not worried about your own pleasure. That's the point. Okay. Next, verse 26. Yato nischalati manas chanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet. Very nice verse. From whatever and wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Your self, Prabhupada using S, capital S, which means the super self, Paramatma. So in the Ashtanga Yoga process, as I told you, the mind control is very important, and nature of the mind further will be discussing on that. When Arjuna is again going to tell about that in the later verses. But for timing, Prabhupada is explaining the purport. Mind's nature is flickering, unsteady. Flickering means it is one thought is right now you're having, suddenly the thought will change some other thought. Right now you're telling yes, yes, yes. Then you will suddenly say no. So it's called flickering and unsteady. Right? Jumping from one thing to other thing, one thing to other thing. It is called flickering. There's no steady aspect of, fixed up aspect of things. Always changing. That is mind's nature. Right? That is material, because of material contact that has happened like this. So the recommendation Krishna is giving us here, that wherever the mind goes here and there while you are practicing yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, in Pratyahara Dharana, you are supposed to bring back the mind again on Super Soul. So, with regard to Krishna consciousness practice, it is something different. This is not what we do. We don't endeavor to control the mind. Just like sometimes, we hear, people asking us, practitioners for chanting, Prabhuji, mind goes here and there. What should I do? Should I bring that mind back to chanting? No, not possible. Because mind is very, very crazy. Difficult. Not easy. Just imagine, for the Ashtanga yogis, it is so difficult. It is a process. Yes, it is a process to bring back the mind, but it's not easy. Krishna also acknowledges this later on. So what is the process? Prabhupada has given us golden rule and diamond rule. The normal rule is that when you start chanting Hare Krishna, what you should do is, what you chant, you should hear. Chant Hare Krishna and exactly the same sound you hear. That will bring your mind automatically under control. Chant Hare Krishna and exactly the same sound you hear. Right? In the very early days of ISKCON, one woman devotee, Mataji, she asked one question to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, what we should think, what we should do while chanting? So Prabhupada said, think nothing, do nothing, just hear, chant and hear. Simple. Think nothing, do nothing, just chant and hear. Over. What other things you should do? Nothing. Yeah, in Ashtanga Yoga, it is supposed to be done all this circus you have to do, gymnastics. Because that is a step-by-step mechanical process. In Bhakti Yoga, the process is different. That's what Krishna has been explaining from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. If you go to 2nd chapter, 59th verse, Krishna very clearly explains, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Krishna says that you can come out of this sensual agitation by higher taste of experiencing Krishna consciousness, devotional service. That's the point. So when you're chanting and hearing Hare Krishna, only doing that, automatically mind comes under control. Prabhupada says this in different contexts, in different various occasions. He explains this. This is called golden rule. There's one more rule called diamond rule. Okay, even though I'm trying to chant and hear that savory sound, mind is that day very agitated. Too much disturbance, because our mind goes through so many ups and downs in our every day. Now maybe morning chanting time, my mind is having so many. Maybe one day before I had some big fight in the office or in the house or something that is continuing. Background is continuing. Right? That what is called hang up. Like people have drinks. Hang up continues even the daytime. Hangover continues. Like that. Hangover of, okay, night I fought so badly with my wife or husband. It is continuing chanting time also. Hare Krishna, not able to hear, what to do? Hare Krishna, I'm chanting, trying to hear, but that same thought, how can she say like this? Hare Krishna, why didn't I say this? This comes. So what to do? Prabhupada says, that time, loudly chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What happens that time? It's like in a room, people are talking, and suddenly some person loudly starts talking. Your attention goes there, no? What is this person talking so loudly? So, when Hare Krishna is chanted loudly, the mind comes under automatic control. Krishna controls us. That's what I want to communicate here. In Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, we don't control our mind. Krishna controls our mind. We give the control to Krishna. Whereas in Ashtanga Yoga, we endeavor to control. We may be successful or not. We don't know. In Krishna consciousness, we depend on Krishna, and only Krishna, you only have to control my mind. You only have to please do. With that mood of dependence, we chant our Hare Krishna mantras, or we perform our devotional service. That's the point. So, this is what Prabhupada is saying to tell us here, that on our own endeavoring to control, we will fail eventually. But when you follow the process, what Acharyas have given us, very wonderful process, then that is to depend on Krishna, just do, chant and hear. Try to hear that sound, clearly try to hear the sound, that's all. That will automatically bring your mind under control. Mind control means no thinking. Because when you hear, there is no thinking. When you think, you cannot hear. Right? Even while we are talking now, session is going on. I am talking, but you are thinking something. Whatever I am talking, nothing is going inside. Correct? Same thing when you are attentive. It means attentively hearing is what is required. This is your energy, which always you have. Just like now, session is going on. Suddenly, here some sound comes. All of your attention will go there. Your mobile rings, attention goes there. Attention is your energy. Where you want to give is left to you. During chanting, your attention should be on the sound vibrated by you. You are producing that Hare Krishna mantra, Lord descends in that holy name. So you have to just focus on that, or rather give attention to that sound incarnation of Krishna. Automatically, Krishna will take care of everything else. So this particular verse of 20, wherein Krishna is telling, in Ashtanga Yoga, a yogi is going to endeavor like this. Wherever mind wanders, he has to bring it back. In Krishna consciousness, we only depend on Krishna and we only chant Krishna loudly, Krishna sound itself will control my mind. That's the point. Okay, so Prabhupada says this is how devotees become Goswami. Goswami means senses are completely under Krishna's service. Whereas Dasa means senses are doing, so you are servant of senses. Goswami means you are master of senses. Dasa means you are servant of senses. Okay. Next verse, 27th verse. Krishna explains the 3 stages of perfection you're going to achieve when your mind is controlled. Basically, these are all stages of coming to the Brahma Bhuta platform. As I told you, right now we are in the Jiva Bhuta platform, material conception of life. You have to come to the Brahma Bhuta platform called spiritual conception of life, which is actually a real conception. The consciousness has to evolve. So Krishna says in 27th verse, Prashanta manasam hi enam yoginam sukam uttamam upaiti shanta rajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. So Krishna says, when your mind is fixed like this on Krishna only, then you come to the stage known as Brahma Bhuta, or you are the stage wherein you identify yourself with Supreme Brahman, that I am spiritual in nature, I am not matter. This conception becomes very clear to you. This understanding becomes very clear to you. Right now, you're going under a wrong conception, misconception that I am this matter or I am this body. Okay. So, how to come to this? What is the symptoms of this stage of Brahma Bhuta? Prashanta manasam hi enam. Mind becomes very peaceful. Prashanta manasa, Prashanta Prabhupada translates it as, when your mind fixes on the lotus feet of Krishna, it becomes very Shanta. Shanta, Prashanta. It's like Jnana, Vijnana. Right? So basically, Sanskrit has this wonderful way of, having this words made. Shanta means peaceful. Prashanta means very peaceful, specifically peaceful. Right? And how it is possible? When your mind is fixed on Krishna, on the lotus feet of Krishna, it becomes peaceful. Otherwise, it will be Ashanta. Prashanta's opposite name is Ashanta. Ashanta means no peace. Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakali, Ashanta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. When your mind is running after material enjoyment, or I want to merge in impersonal Brahman, Mukti, or I want some yoga siddhis, mind is very disturbed or Ashanta. When the mind is only fixed on undeviating service to Krishna, Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama, Eka Shanta, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So, the first symptom of coming to the stage of mind fully absorbed in meditation on Krishna is your mind is peaceful. Prashanta manasam hi enam, mind is fixed on Supreme Lord. Yoginam sukhamuttamam, and you're going to experience the highest happiness, as we described in the 21st verse of this chapter. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhi grahyam atindriyam. Right? So, he's going to attain highest happiness, second symptom. Third symptom is upaiti shanta rajasam. Your passions are quieted. Passion means, Krishna explains in the 16th chapter very nicely, the different symptoms of the passionate way of life. Very interesting. Right? I'll take out one verse and 14th chapter he explains about passion. He explains all the 3 modes, but specifically passion he explains. When there's increase in the mode of passion, now what happens? Great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, intense endeavor develop. Passion means you're too attached to something, you can't give up. Prabhupada says, you have got one position already, not satisfied. I want to go higher. I want to become bigger. Now I'm getting 1 lakh salary. No, not satisfied. 1.5 lakh salary. Now I'm satisfied. only for a few days. After that, again, I want 2 lakh salary. Satisfied for time being. Again, I want more. 3 lakh, 4 lakh, no end. Position, money, power, no satisfaction. Right? He hankers to increase for his position, power, name, fame. Prabhupada says, a passionate person, if he wants to construct a residential house, he tries his best to have a palatial house. I want to build a palace. As if he would be able to reside in that house eternally. I'm going to stay in this house forever. So I want to make this house so well that it is going to stand for 1,000 years. You yourself is not going to stay for 70 years. But house is going to stand for 1,000 years. The Prabhupada used to, when he went to this Rome, Italy, he was going in a morning walk. He was seeing many, many ruined structures there. Prabhupada asked, where are those kings and ministers who built this? They were thinking all these buildings, will last forever. They are also going to last forever. Where are they now? They all died. These buildings also are not going to stay forever. So, like this intense hankering for sense gratification. Right? So this gratification, sense gratification, never ending. Right? Always new ways of enjoying senses. These are all the characteristics of passion. This is all quieted. Very quiet. No more hankerings. Right? Passions are quieted. Mind is very peaceful. Mind is fixed on Krishna. We are experiencing highest happiness of Krishna consciousness, spiritual happiness. Passions are quieted and is freed from sin. So like this, Krishna explains the symptoms of one being in Brahma Bhuta stage. The Prabhupada explains what is Brahma Bhuta stage. Brahma Bhuta is the state of being free from material contamination. Right? And situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. Very nice understanding. Right now, our stage is Jiva Bhuta, wherein you are completely engrossed in material contamination and no service to Krishna. Brahma Bhuta means you are freed from material contamination and you are situated in transcendental service to Lord. Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. So, this stage is possible only when your mind is fixed on Krishna, which means by chanting Hare Krishna every day, the same position reached by Ashtanga Yogi is reached very easily by a sadhaka of Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga. That's what Prabhupada says. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Yandayor. Always engaging your mind in Krishna's service. So which means this engaging your mind always in Krishna's service will bring you these symptoms of Prashanta Manasam, Sukhamuttamam, then Shanta Rajasam and Akalmasham. 4 things Krishna explains. Right? So I will go to the next verse, last verse of this day. Again, small verse. Krishna explains next, 28th verse. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparshan atyantam sukham ashnute. So Krishna says, like this, being steady in the super soul, being free from all material contamination, yogi vigata kalmashaha, the yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness. Atyantam sukham ashnute, because he is having Brahma samsparsha. He is always in touch with this supreme spiritual, perfection. Brahman means spiritual, Supreme Lord's situation. So basically, the advancement in spiritual consciousness has come to the stage wherein you are having this self-realization that I am not this body. Self can also mean body, mind, whatever. But you understand I am not this body, mind, but I am spirit soul. And I am part and parcel of Supreme Spirit Soul. That is called self-realization. You know what is actually your situation. You are not misled or misguided or having a wrong conception of life. So this understanding becomes very clear. So this stage, Prabhupada says, wherein the spirit soul is realized to this stage or has awakened this stage, and constantly having this this awakened state and working in the direction is what Prabhupada says. This is a transcendental contact with Supreme is called Brahma Samsparsha. Now it is, actually we are having this Bhautika Samsparsha. We're in contact, or consciousness is polluted now, contaminated consciousness, kalmasha. It has to become akalmasha, vigata kalmasha, means it should be free from contamination. Right? So this is the stage which Krishna is recommending that a yogi will come to when he has come to the stage of pratyahara, dharana, then dhyana and samadhi. Okay, fine. So I'll close here. We'll continue our discussions further in the next sessions. Very nicely, Father Krishna is going to explain the realization. What happens to a person who has come to this stage of perfection? What is his vision? He explains in the next 4 verses. We'll discuss in the next session. So meanwhile, I'll conclude here. Anybody has anything to ask, anything to discuss, comment, take a few questions. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any questions? Nothing? Okay.
So, Prabhuji, I have just small doubt. With great respect, I'm just asking one question, Prabhuji. You are talking about that Akashakra village, now, where the wheel has fallen during the that where Kurukshetra where. But Prabhuji, on that village, that in Kali Yuga, so many births taking place. Dharmi also is taking place. Adharmi also is taking place. So, means I'm not able to correlate the matter that when Sri Krishna's wrath has fallen, or some that what is the wheel chakra has fallen, then why the means Adharmi will also take birth from that village? It is not only the Dharmi people are taking birth, because Adharmis also are taking birth from that place. So how is that means that I am talking about the individual birth, that on the same holy place, someone is Dharmi, someone is Adharmi. It is happening at present. So why it is happening?
Krishna's uncle was Adharmi, Kamsa. Same family. Right? Krishna's cousin brother Shishupala was a Adharmi. Same family. Right? In the family wherein Ravana was Adharmi, Vibhishana was Dharmi. Why it is so? Same brothers, Dhritarashtra, Pandava. One brother's sons are Dharmi, another brother's sons are Adharmi. How do you explain this?
That's why I'm asking, what is the reason for that, Prabhuji?
Giving you the background, you're telling about common things.
Yeah.
How, in the same family, father is a demon, son is a devotee. Which example? Narasimha, Prahlad, right? Father is a demon, son is a devotee. How it is possible? So it is all living entities are given all the opportunities to use his free will. It is called law of karma, is law of equal opportunities. The real world is designed in such a way that all of us are governed by what is known as law of karma. Based on our previous karma, we have taken birth, and all of us, based on our karma, are given equal opportunities. See, equal opportunity means all of us can draw the benefit of sunshine. Nobody is telling, oh, because you are from this place, or because you are not educated, so you should not get, you get sunshine only 20%. Nobody is saying that. No. So, law of equal opportunity basically means that opportunity for you to take up Krishna consciousness is equally given. but you are not exercising your free will. In the human form of life, we are supposed to exercise this free will. That's why the whole Indian, or what you say, the Vedic culture was designed to train, educate people from the very beginning, from the from their birth, the families, the society, the schooling, the education, everything was all in that way trained. How to see that your free will is not misused. You should know the bigger picture of Krishna's arrangement in this world. Everything has a purpose, no? The family arrangement, the world, why it is going like this, how, who is controlling this, why sun is rising, why sun is setting, why seasons are changing. Everything has a reason, right? So if you, it's like when you say that these many people have defaulted in paying the tax, what does it mean? They know tax has to be paid, but they want to avoid paying tax, which means the income tax department will try to see that they will be penalized today or tomorrow. Similarly, traffic rules. You know, it is one way. Somehow you're in a hurry, or you don't want to go all around. Let me go off like this, right? So, which means, point is, you are using your free will to violate, or maybe ignorance. Ignorance is no excuse anyway. You're supposed to know, either by ignorance or doing it deliberately, or doing it because of your own arrogance. Who will care? No care. I am the boss. So these attitudes we have developed in the material world, in this association, because of our long association in the material world of taking different material bodies. The demoniac tendencies we have developed. So yes, your question of why some people are born in the land of dharma as adharmis, some are born as dharmis. Equal opportunity is given. See, in the Ramayana also, if you see carefully, Ravan was given every opportunity to return Sita every time. But even his own people, his own wife, Mandodari, everybody was advising him every now and then. As soon as he kidnapped Sita, that time onwards, they were all advising him, your misfortune has begun. Anytime he would have returned simply Sita back, all the destruction what happened would have not happened. Right? So when Vinasha Kala Viparita Buddhi, it is said. When Vinasha Kala comes, your buddhi doesn't work. It becomes Viparita. Viparita means it becomes degraded. So like that, the free will of an individual is such that if he wants, he can surrender any time and change his destiny. Doesn't want, just like we this yesterday we were hearing the pastime of Nityananda Prabhu's Jagai Madhai. They were adharmis. Nityananda Prabhu was preaching, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. Please chant holy name of Krishna, do bhajan of Krishna. Nityananda was preaching, but these people were so fallen that they didn't even wanted to hear the instruction of Nityananda Prabhu. They even went to the point of hurting the Nityananda Prabhu by hitting on his head with a broken pot. Right? But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he was very angry, they surrendered and they transformed. And they became very great devotees. Adharmis became dharmis. Great devotees. So, my point is, you become a dharmi or adharmi by your own exercising your free will. You are not adharmi by your constitution, by your nature, but you have acquired that nature by wrong association. Right? Wrong association has made you see things in a wrong way. So the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita, Guru Sadhu Shastra basically is meant to correct that wrong understanding, wrong conception of life, and bring you back to the saner way of following dharma. Sooner you do that, it is good for you. Otherwise, you will again suffer repeatedly. So, the simple answer to your question is why both are there. See, Lord has created that way because Lord is given opportunity for everybody. It is individuals. Once you've got a human form, that opportunity is even more, expression can be expressed in a more nice way. But again, you misuse. It's like telling in an office or a company, why is that some people, even though they're getting good salary, everything, they want to cheat? Because they're using their own free will. They're thinking, I want easy money. I want to do kam chori. Right? I want to run away from this responsibility. My office time is this 9 to 6, but I want to only do 4 hours. 4 hours, I want to simply busy on social media. Facebook, WhatsApp. Oh, for 4 hours, I get free salary. No. This is called cheating. So it all depends on what type of culturing and what type of, bring up the environment in which you're grown. The values. Right. So these are the various aspects we can see. It's just that even though you're a dharmi, you can become a dharmi. Anytime. It's possible. And a dharmi also can become a dharmi anytime. Which means free will is there. The famous example of Ajamila in Bhagavatam. He was a great dharmi, following all rules, regulations, Brahmana. But he saw one, very low-class woman, prostitute, indulging in some lusty affairs with another low-class man. Seeing that, he became agitated. He fell down. He became a dharmi. But his devotion during his youth saved him at the time of his death. So somehow he chanted Narayana. It was his son's name, but he called Narayana. Narayana was very merciful. He came and saved him. Just see. So, what is that actually I'm supposed to be doing? If I don't do, that is what constitutes to be adharma. That's what Krishna says in 4th chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When dharma, there is discrepancies in the following of dharma, I come again and again to tell you this is not the right path, this is the right path. See, Krishna is so merciful. To deliver this adharmis only he comes repeatedly to tell you what you are doing nonsense. Come back to the right path. Otherwise, simply will suffer. So those who are fortunate enough will catch this spirit of Krishna's preaching and will go back. Those who are not fortunate enough, dull-headed, want to do our way, who cares, that mentality, then continue. That's the point. So Krishna is respecting your free will. That is what voluntarily you have to surrender. Then only Krishna accepts. No forced surrender. Krishna would have forcibly made you surrender. But thing is, material nature is such that you are forced to either surrender to Maya or to Krishna. But we prefer to surrender to Maya, and Prabhupada says getting kicked from her nicely, rather than surrendering to Krishna and be happy there. That is the problem with us. Unfortunate. Prabhupada gives example of a donkey, ass. Ass is so dull and dumb. For a morsel of grass, it takes loads of luggage on its back for its master and carries. And finally, he gives a bunch of grass. Grass available anywhere. Secondly, when he approaches the Mrs. Ass, she badly, oh, you want to enjoy me? No. She kicks him so badly. Poor ass. Master is loading loads here. Mrs. is kicking him in the house. And it is how ass life is. Our life is that only. Mr. and Mrs. Ass. Prabhupada says, Mudha. Not Prabhupada says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Our life is like this. Mr. and Mrs. Ass. Right? So we are going on like this. And finally, we are so dumb I'm working so hard. I have earned so much money that even 10 generations can eat without any work. But you will not live even for one generation. Why did you make 10 generation money? For what? Again, as Mudha, Prabhupada says. Working hard and hard and hard and hard. What? No, I've got 1 billion, I have to make it 2 billion. Why? Because no, my 10 generations have to enjoy life. The 10 generation, what will happen, you also don't know. That is called adharmi. Okay?
Yeah.
Fine.
So, Prabhuji, that shall I conclude like that? Means like, the Durjadhana, because he had the opportunity to meet Lord Krishna, and that means he had some good means what do you say, he had some good karma. He had a good karma in his past life. So because of that, he met Lord Krishna so many times.
Correct.
But his free willing
He
forced him,
didn't take advantage. That's the problem. He didn't take
because of
advantage.
his free willing was driving
His misuse
him.
of free will. Misuse of free will and not recognizing Krishna's mercy. Why Krishna has come before me. Same thing we are also doing. Hare Krishna is appearing while chanting. We are not hearing. What we are hearing? We are hearing in our mind. Oh, yesterday dinner, salt was less. Today breakfast, what I will have. Today, that day, I should do this. That is going on in the mind. So many thoughts are going on in the mind. Krishna has come, we're not taking him in. Unfortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Krishna has come with all his powers, energies. So unfortunate, we are not able to even utter his holy names with attention. See? So every opportunity is given. Lot of wonderful facilities are given for us to become nice devotees. But how much we are taking advantage of it? So we should become very serious. Prabhupada says, this lifetime you should go back to Godhead. That serious you should become. तो उसके लिए क्या करना है, सब कुछ करना है. Whatever required, let us do everything. जब सुबह जल्दी उठना है, yes, I get up. 16 rounds shut up, ऐसा करना है, yes, I will do. Right? Anything, whatever Prabhupada has said, I do. That should be the way. Because why? Because finish this life. I don't know what will happen next life. No, we'll see, later on. Okay, then see. How many lives you have to see, you also don't know. That's the point, unfortunately. We take so much of risk.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your kind advice. Very nicely explained.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So we'll close now and continue. And I'm not sure whether I'll be possible to take any sessions in the next few days. I'll try, but I cannot assure you. Whenever possible, I'll try to see. Okay. So meanwhile, all of you study up these 6 chapters nicely. Become thorough. Enough time is there for you to study. Okay. So much is there to study. So we'll close now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhuji, we wish you a very blissful yatra.
Thank you.